Well, hello there. I can see that the idiot is back again for another night of hell from the dog. Why? I don't know. You must have a pretty good reason for being back here after what you've been through already with Iggy and his friends. I commend you, my friend, I commend you, but it's still better than me. Now, what exactly could have possibly compelled you to come back for another night here? Unless you're curious. I can sense these things, you know. You're curious about Shadow, Iggy, right? I really don't know if I should tell you anything about him. I mean, he's just a legend. That's what all the rest of the staff say. But he's real. He's very real. I guess I should warn you. And tell you a bit of the story, since who knows how much longer I'm going to be around. Someone else might as well know the story, and then can pass on the warning to the next generation of idiots. You being the king of idiots at the moment. Well, it was around the same time as Iggy's disappearance. It was actually a couple of days before. I was sent to the parts room to get one of Iggy 2.0's spare bows. For some unexplained reason, Iggy 2.0 kept losing his bows recently. You know, it might look like Iggy's bow is actually stuck on, but it's not really. It's not like permanently sealed to him. You can take it off if it gets damaged, and you can put on a new one. And they still kept seeming to misplace them. When I went to the spare parts room, of course, I couldn't find the box with the bow ties in. But I looked all over the place, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I thought it'd be curious. Who in the earth would want to steal a box of bows? What the possible reason could be? As long as they're not making a mess, because Iggy 1.0 doesn't like a mess. Good on that lad. If he sees a mess, he automatically wants to clean it up. Because he's always very helpful, as I said. He cleans up the kiddie's corner very well. You won't find him with a speck of mess in there. He always tries to do his best to be a good dog. Now, that being said, while I was trying to find these bow ties, and failing to find them, I came across something. It was blueprints to the models of Iggy 1.0 and 2.0. Or at least that's what I thought they were. The dog looked like Iggy 1.0. In fact, the model name for the dog was indeed Iggy 1.0. Only there was something much more different about this dog. His colours. He was black. But right beside him was another design for our current Iggy 1.0. In fact, it appeared to be that the two dogs were built at the same time. But something had happened with one of them. There was a whole bunch of scribbles on there. A whole bunch of them. One of them said, guard model. I'm guessing that the old man was really paranoid. I mean, he really is very paranoid about anybody such as animatronics. He must have built another dog to go with Iggy 1.0. So, I don't know, be part of like the security system or something. But he was really hard to see, and he was pitch black. I doubt you'd be able to notice him if he was in any of the rooms looking at you right now, unless his face is lit up. Which according to the blueprints he can do, just like the current Iggy can. This model, of course, did indeed have the artificial intelligence. Plus he had some type of, like, database of some sort. Not really sure myself what the earth database was. Apparently it was a very early model, but he scrapped the idea just keeping the artificial intelligence like he did with the other Iggy. I guess the best way to describe them is as if they were like twin brothers or counterparts of the same model. But we were never introduced to this dog. Not once did the owner ever mention he made a second model, or the first original Iggy. He never introduced us, but according to what I could gather from the blueprints, indeed the dog was made. But where on the earth could the owner hide such a big dog, and how come we never saw it? But he was given the name Shadow. At least according to the blueprint it was. He was a model that was made to watch and monitor the areas in secret. He was much more quieter. I then found a bunch of notes with it that said that Shadow was always watching Iggy 1.0, and that the owner had tried doing a trial run with him and some kids. Unfortunately, Shadow didn't like the way the children were handling Iggy 1.0 and lashed out. I've never heard of this incident before. Ever. And that there were no reports, there was no parents that had complained. I wonder what became of them. It was as if they disappeared. There was no record. I quickly went and scrambled all the papers back and hid them well. And oddly enough, I got a strange feeling like I was being watched from the shadows. It was pretty dark in that parts room. In the far corner, I could have sworn I could make out the outline of what appeared to be Iggy 1.0. I found it kind of strange since the old dog was with the kids' corner at that moment, just having fun. But naturally I said, "Hi there, Iggy 1.0, how you doing, old boy?" The dog didn't reply to me, but he did move. He watched me put the papers back, and I left the room. The dog was still watching as I left. When I told the other members of staff, they didn't believe me. They said that Iggy was on stage, one Iggy was on stage and the other one was with the kids. And then I was clearly crazy. Could I possibly have actually seen Shadow Iggy? If I find anything more about this dog, I'll tell you. But one thing I could gather is, if any harm was done to any of the dogs, this model was made to protect the integrity of those models, to make sure that nobody messes with them. I don't know what he would do if he actually caught you trying to break one. But from what I could gather, he wouldn't dismantle another animatronic. But he would deal with anyone that tried to tamper with them. Again, there wasn't much information on the actual paper itself to say what would become of you. I knew that our boss was a bit crazy. I mean, he did care for those guys more than anything, but is he really capable of allowing his animatrons to... I'm just being silly. I doubt that's what the Shadow version would do. Besides, I most likely just smashed the whole thing up. When I went back to the parts room later, I could find the papers nowhere. They completely disappeared, like somebody picked them up and moved them. I even tried asking the boss about Shadow Iggy. He told me that I should forget anything that I found. And that I need not worry about the animatrons. He already had someone watching them. But he had his own little helper to keep an eye on his Iggy. And this was before Iggy 2.0 was... before he started acting kind of buggy. Probably confusing you a bit, but there was an incident not long after that. It involved that god. I've already said enough. Don't worry about it. Anyway, best of luck for tonight. Hope you survive.